Welcome to Her Cringe Clinic. I'm Dr. Ju, and here we free our cringe to heal from our habit of hiding to live more authentically. Today, I wanted to talk about friendship breakups. There is no life without death and no light without darkness. So friendship breakups are a part of life. I wanted to talk about 3 things today. One, I wanted to normalize friendship breakups and talk about how isolating and lonely it may feel because there isn't really a framework for going through it like there is for romantic breakup. Number 2, I'm going to convince you to put in more effort into your friendships because society tells us to fight for our love and our romance, but friendship, it makes it seem like that shit should be easy. But valuable, precious things in life require and deserve our effort. So let's talk about how we should put in more effort into friendships to hopefully avoid friendship breakups that are not necessary. And 3, I wanted to dive into this specific type of friendship breakup, the one with that jealous, toxic friend that some of us have all had. You know, the classic crazy bitch from high school who copies you, wants to be you, puts you down passive aggressively, and then flips the fuck out when you call them out. Yeah, we're gonna talk about her. First of all, do not blame yourself when you have a friendship breakup. And I wouldn't say that to everybody, but I'm saying it to you because you are listening to this podcast, and that means I am automatically on your side. And really, if you're listening to this podcast, I already kind of know how you are as a human being in this society and as a friend because the bitches that aren't working on themselves are not watching this. So don't blame yourself. I'm trusting you and saying that confidently. You don't have to blame yourself. We can't immediately figure people out. People change when they get comfortable, or they change when they get attached to you and start to project or to want to control you. People are good at wearing their mask at first if they want to befriend you. We also don't start a friendship thinking about how it might end. A friendship breakup is a completely different ballgame from a romantic breakup where, with a romantic interest, you probably from the get-go were always weighing and considering if this person was going to be your forever person or not. In my experience with friendship breakups, they can be so much more confusing, isolating, and difficult to process than romantic heartbreak because I can't immediately blame some of the mistakes I made in that relationship on the blinding love that I felt. Instead of having some immediate level of compassion and empathy for myself, I go into this logical, calculative, intellectualizing MO where I am way more harsh on myself. And I wonder what the fuck is wrong with me? Why did I put up with all that shit? And why did it take so long for me to realize? Am I insecure? Do I fear abandonment? I question myself endlessly because it seems like I logically made choices to spend time with this person to the point where we became as close as we did. And then to have everything just crumble, it's really painful. Friendship breakups also feel weird to talk about with your other friends because bitching about an ex with your friends can sometimes be super affirming, but bitching about a friend never really feels that good. I always wonder if it's even worth it to do it because I'm like, are you wondering if I bitch about you to my other friends? Because I really don't, and I don't want to risk you thinking that. And this makes it so that I can really only bitch about a friendship breakup to my closest friend. But what if it's my best friend that I just lost? Generally, friendship breakups are way less talked about in media, like my whole Instagram feed changes somehow if I'm going through a romantic breakup, but does it change entirely for my friendship breakups? No. Am I embarrassed struggling with a friendship breakup as a full-grown adult in my 30s? Kind of. But does empathy generally grow with age for older people going through romantic heartbreak? Yeah. It's all very fucked up in my opinion. And yes, the older I get, the harder and more isolating friendship breakups have been. It really gets you wondering what the fuck is wrong with me? Friendship breakups also a lot of times don't even come with closure. You just kind of drift apart. So that combined with having no one you can really vent about this and process this with, and no framework to follow, like having a night out with your friends or impulsively cutting your bangs, it can be really isolating. And you can be really harsh on yourself and wonder what's wrong with yourself. Why am I a woman in my 30s who can't even keep a friend? But again, I don't want you to blame yourself for having a friendship breakup because it is a part of life. It's actually evidence of your growth. There is actually nothing wrong with you. There's a book called Fighting for Our Friendship that one of my girlfriends recommended to me, and I haven't read it yet, but the author of the book, Danielle, shares a research study that says on average, we lose half of our friends every 7 years. That there is this natural pruning process in our lives because we naturally grow and sometimes we outgrow our friends. So don't worry. If you're having friendship breakups, it is a natural thing. And sometimes, more often than not, it's even a good thing. But if you're about to have a friendship breakup with a friend who is truly a good person for you at this moment, but you sense that you are drifting apart and you don't know how to fix it, I'm going to try to convince you to put in more effort into your friendships. Yes, friendship breakups are inevitable at times, but if the friend is worth working through the problem with, then you want to avoid the friendship breakup. Don't be a little bitch. Talk to your friend. Most people avoid being authentic when facing a conflict or avoid the conflict altogether. Some people are so down to jump into an all-nighter difficult conversation when it comes to their romantic partner, but they won't engage in one difficult conversation with you as a friend. And I bet this is the reason why so many friendship breakups happen without closure. We don't even try to communicate and fix the problem a lot of the times. We just let them go in silence and then wonder what's wrong with us. Why do we allow ourselves to cry in each other's arms when we have a cordial breakup with a romantic partner, but we let our friends quietly drift away and never speak to them again? It's all very fucked up in my opinion. It's normalized to put in less effort into our friendships. I'll never understand that. It's not like our friends are our parents. Why are we avoiding talking to them? Side story, one time my ex was giving me and my friend a hard time as a joke, and my friend turned to him and said, "Hey, I know I'm going to be at Seon's wedding. Are you? Are you?" And we were all just like, and I still fantasize about my wedding where I'm all emotional, making eye contact with that friend, thinking back to that moment. To me, this incident always reminds me my friends have been there for me through all of my life's small and big joys and pains. They have built so much of who I am and my life in ways that my lover could not replace. So engage in difficult conversations with your friends. Fight through discomfort with them, just like we do in our romantic partnerships. Put in effort. If you felt some kind of way that your friend didn't show up for you in the way that you wish they had, then fucking talk to her. How are your friends supposed to know how you want to be supported or loved if you don't tell them? So let's normalize putting in more effort and having difficult conversations with our friends because they last. They shape you, they build you, they teach you, guide you. They are the mirrors to yourself in your life. They're the supporters, they're the caregivers. They will hold you during your toughest times in life and they will teach you the greatest lessons in life too. Even if you don't have friends like this in your life right now, make some, build them, wait it out, put in effort. People no longer marry at 20 and have 5 kids. We live in a society where we spend more and more time with our friends, and they are the family that we choose to make in our lives. Friends will be the closest relationships you have all throughout your teens and your 20s, and now for a lot of people, their 30s too. And then if you don't have kids, your 40s and your 50s, and then for those who had kids, when your kids grow up, you are back to hanging out with your friends in your 60s, 70s, 80s, till you fucking die. Yes, you may have your partner this whole time, but we spend the majority of our lives being closest to our friends after we learn to be independent from our parents. I mean, unless you and your partner are high school sweethearts or middle school sweethearts, if that's the case, fuck you. But that's not me. And that's not a bunch of other people I know. So just remember, when you want to prioritize potential for love or a meaningless one-night stand, over a friendship. Girl, your values and priorities are all fucked up. Some people think it's normal to put in almost no work in maintaining lasting friendships. They're wrong. Because if something is valuable, you gotta put in the work. Get your priorities straight. Like I said before, and I'll say it again, friendships are more important than romantic relationships. Frankly, if you are someone who is not capable of pouring into your friendship, I don't know how great your love life is going to be. Because one, your partner's also a friend, yeah. And two, the initial, overwhelming, joyful, beautiful feeling of falling in love is going to go away with time. In friendship and in love, sometimes we show up even when it's not pleasurable to do so in the moment. That's an inevitable part of a relationship built on true love, whether romantic or platonic. So if you are someone who constantly prioritizes the immediate pleasure of all the feelings of romance over long-lasting love and support, then you don't know love. You don't know how to love. Learn to actually love over chasing the high of the potential for love. Love is selfless. Love is patient. Choosing your friends over the immediate gratification of a random dude will teach you how to actually love. And learning to be patient by not falling for every potential will teach you how to actually love. Again, no guarantees, but I keep telling people that self-discovery is more rewarding than swiping on a dating app. Might not seem like it, but it will actually bring you closer to what you're looking for, which is true love, right? So my point was to encourage you to put in more effort in general with your friends. Check in on your friends instead. See how they're doing. Send them a good morning text. Be curious about their feelings, about what's going on in their lives, and reach out to your friends if you feel like you're losing them but you don't know why, or the recent distance that you feel from them has been a great loss to you, because friendships deserve our authenticity. We have to face difficult conversations that we want to avoid with our friends. We have to engage even when it's hard. But on the other hand, maybe it's been a relief to have some space or to drift away from that one friend. Friendships being very important and worth putting in a lot of fucking effort aside, friendship breakups are inevitable sometimes. The dark side of friendship is just as real as the beautiful, healing, supporting, growing parts of friendship. And sometimes it's a blessing to purge the rotten friends out of your life to make room for new blessings to come. Because we all have a very finite amount of time and energy for people in our lives. So keep quality friends around and let all the other bitches go. Don't blame yourself if that leaves you isolated right now. Let the universe prune you. There's nothing wrong with a tree getting pruned. It's love and care. It's good for you. To give you an example of a friendship breakup that you should definitely be having, let's talk about that girl we've all been friends with. Do you know how I talked about the personal legend in episode 4? Which is an alchemist reference, and that not everyone wants to find their personal legend. Only some of us will commit to finding it, and I feel like these are the people who have the light in them. They're the ones who feel like dying if they're not searching for their personal legend. They're the main characters in their lives. They're the ones trying to chase their inner compass. They're not satisfied by how society tells us to live. You should go back to episode 4, by the way, if you resonate. And for the ones that have been chosen to be this way, we all share this story of having that one jealous friend. It's very shitty. Maybe I'm delulu, but from my data pool of girlfriends, this has been the case. And I want to talk about it because you are not alone if this is happening to you. I wanted the girlies out there to know that if this is still happening and you are way past high school age, we still see you and it still fucking hurts. I know, but it's not your fault. And the number of friendship breakups or how long it took you to have that friendship breakup does not mean anything in terms of your character. Remember that. I've had other kinds of friendship breakups too, and there are many other reasons to have a friendship breakup. Maybe you drift away because of life circumstances, maybe your values and priorities change, but I feel like we've all suffered from that one toxic friend dynamic stemming from envy. Frankly, I have a really hard time saying saying that out loud that someone is envious of me. But sometimes, nothing else can explain their toxic behavior better. And I don't think anyone is envious of any specific thing that I have going on that they don't. I don't even have a job. But I think what it is that I have the light in me. I do. I'm shiny on the inside. And the thing is, you can never fucking take that away from me. I was born with it, bitch. Okay, so let's cover the basics. There are defense mechanisms that we use unconsciously to hide from our shadows. Projection is one of them. That's a famous one. That's when you project an insecurity of yours onto somebody else instead of facing the insecurity within yourself and accepting them internally. So, for example, instead of accepting that you are envious, you might say to someone, "Oh my God, why are you so envious of my success?" There is repression, where you just block the thoughts and emotions out. There is denial, where you just straight up deny. There is rationalization, which is when you come up with reasons that you believe are logical. And there's sublimation, which is when you redirect that energy to something that's more socially acceptable. So maybe you are super angry about something and then you pick up boxing as a hobby. Displacement is an ugly one, and that's when you redirect your difficult emotions to something that's completely unrelated and often helpless. So, for example, your boss might yell at you after a fight at home with their partner. We can't forget reaction formation, which is when you express the complete opposite of how you internally truly feel. Ooh, there's intellectualization, which is when you detach from your emotions, but you are able to talk about it in a very dry, intellectual way to avoid actually feeling or sitting with the emotions. So, I went through some of the defense mechanisms just to show you that this can go on forever. This has been studied forever and we all do it. And this is a lifelong process, and some people definitely fucking do it without even realizing. And when someone is being toxic, most likely it has nothing to do with you. Yes, maybe it's because you have the light in you, but really it's whatever is lacking in them that's causing them to attack the light in you. It's more about them not having the light than it is about you having the light. In this book that I love, and we should all read this book, it's called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Luis. And the second agreement in life that is stated in the book is that we should never take anything anyone says personally, because people see the world through their own eyes, their own lives, and their past. They don't see you or whatever you have going on inside of you. It's all about them and their experiences, their past. They live in their own world. There is no need to take anything someone says personally, especially when people are attacking you. Know and remind yourself that it is 100% about them and not you. And again, I'm telling you that this is 100%. Not for everyone, but if you're listening, probably it's about them and not you. When people care about you and actually hold up a mirror for you, you'll notice it. It's different. When two people become friends and get close to one another, they likely see themselves in each other. That's what builds the closeness, the connection. It is a requirement in friendship. We actually drift apart when we no longer feel this twinship with our friend. And when we develop that closeness where we see one another in ourselves, people can project their insecurities onto you and get pissed off when you don't suffer like they are suffering. They might even unconsciously try to convince you that you suck because that's what they believe about themselves, and they want you to suffer like they are to confirm their reality that all of this is very much shitty. They may dismiss your issues that you bring up in trust and in vulnerability that you did out of love. They might make you walk on eggshells because they're passive aggressive. They might do everything they can to put you down, a comment here and there, because they have their flashlights on to look for your personal weaknesses and insecurities that they need to confirm their reality. Putting you down is not actually an attack out of hate, but it is survival to comfort their sadness. Misery loves misery. Sadly, they feel supported when you suffer with them, when you believe that you suck just like they believe they suck. People like this enjoy seeing you feel hurt, not because you are hurting, but because it soothes their pain to have company. I'm not saying that they're evil at all. But I just want you to know what's happening and then choose if you want to keep them around or not. Frankly, if I were covered in shit, I would want people in my life to also be covered in shit. Why would I want to be the only one covered in shit? It's only natural and a human tendency to seek companionship and support where we're at. Miserable, sad-ass people need other people to suffer with them and get them for what they're going through. So when someone with a clean shirt comes around and all they want to do is smudge a little shit on them, you can't blame them. Imagine what relief they would feel to finally see some of what's been torturing them on your shirt. What relief now that you are one of them covered in shit. How good would it feel for them if you now reached out to them for help because you are crying with shit on your shirt and you tell them, oh my god, it really fucking sucks to have shit on my shirt. They would feel so heard, so relieved. And you can't blame them for feeling that way, and they are going to create this feeling of being supported by putting you down, by making you feel like you're one of them. It's that necessary closeness, that twinship that we all crave. The shit here is a metaphor for judgment, insecurities, expectations, and pressures, all the meaningless things that people learn to torture themselves with. We all do it. Some people, though, they are especially unaware and go around projecting and displacing their insecurities on everyone else, putting their shit on everyone else. My advice is, because friendships matter, if you love your friend, try to hold your friends accountable when they do this. Because we all do it, and that's okay. And even if the conversation is difficult for you, try to do it for your friend. It might really bring you two closer together, and you may find yourself with a lifelong mirror to help guide you through life. No one is perfect. Model vulnerability, show love, roll in their shit for a little bit if you think that's gonna help, but talk to them from the heart. But if you put in the effort and you are vulnerable about how it made you feel and ask them with love to hold accountability for their actions, and all they did was attempt to punish you further for doing this instead, like flipping the fuck out and attacking you, then you gotta let that bitch go. They are not ready to face themselves. They will continue to hold on to their defense mechanisms of projecting and smearing shit on other people to hide from their shadows. And it is not worth it to be around people like that. In The Alchemist, it says everything that happens once can never happen again, but everything that happens twice will surely happen a third time. Drake says once is a lot of things, twice is a decision. Everyone is insecure. We all make mistakes. That alone is not a reason to cut people out. Everyone deserves a second chance, but my cutoff, personally, is if it happens twice. And how do you know if something counts as strike one? You listen to your body. Listen to your thoughts at the end of the night. If it was a joke, you're not tossing and turning. And don't skip the step, but talk to her about it. If she apologizes, that's still strike one. But you talk to her. It happened. She's aware. And you can be sure that if she fucks up again, that's the second strike. And it's not like you didn't talk to her about it the first time. So you can be sure to let her go. Purge the rotten bitches. Maybe you already know in your heart that you've given her endless chances already. Then you can just choose to let her go now. And when you do, don't get discouraged that you are unlucky with friends, that it is not worth it to spend a decade befriending someone just to drift apart. Because again, on average, every 7 years, we lose half of our friends. The reason why that study hit so hard for me is because I've lost 2 of my very best friends that I've been friends with for 7 years each. And I spent a lot of fucking time wondering what the fuck was wrong with me. Why did it take me 7 years to figure them out? In the end though, I realized that I can take the lessons I've learned and remember the good ass times and also know in my heart that the friendship had to end because our worlds were no longer vibing together. And that's proof of my growth in my life. You can say change, but I know that overall, I've only regressed a little bit. I always am growing. So it's proof of growth in my life. There are a lot of people out there. Good women are everywhere, at every age group possible. You don't need to be surrounded by people who are unaware that they are covering themselves and everybody around them in shit. Why be with people who secretly want to see you fall and suffer? If you are a loner because deep inside you don't like any of your friends, then be alone for a while. Work on yourself and then go to places where you're going to find good women who will hold up the mirror for you in love. And you can learn to grow with one another because that's a beautiful thing that friendships do for you that all of us deserve to experience. Girls love to get together and create wonderful vibes and energy and be welcoming and inviting and build a support system. It's wired in us to do this. So once you commit to finding some good girlfriends and you put in the effort to do it, you will, I promise, continue to learn to love in the meantime by accepting and loving yourself and appreciate those who dare to hold up the mirror for you because that's love. You don't need that girl who's hurting you, putting you down, secretly feeling relieved at your pain. Protect your energy, protect your peace, protect what you have that's so fucking sacred. Don't be around people who want to throw shit at your shine. So that brings us to the journal prompt for today, which is, what is it that friend that you're thinking of right now had that made it so hard for you to let her go? Maybe it's still in the present tense. What is it that makes you stay knowing she's not a supporter? Because there is a reason for why you're staying. How is this friendship serving you and what are you afraid to lose? Find out what it is that's making you stay and consider if that's worth more than your peace. There's always something that the friendship is serving you if you're choosing to stay. That's why some relationships are very difficult to leave, even though you know deep inside that they're not good for you, because they are serving you in some way. So what are those benefits? When you're aware of the real reasons that you are staying, you can work on obtaining that elsewhere instead. So you don't cover yourself in shit unconsciously in the process of getting that one thing that the relationship has been serving you. Maybe it's something you can give to yourself. You never know. That's why when you make a friend out of yourself, a lot of rotten friends will purge out of your life because maybe it was that fear of abandonment, fear of loneliness that kept those useless people in your life. Those people are serving something and you need to figure out what it is that they're serving so that you can purge the rotten ones out. Thank you, everyone. Please share in the comments your experience of friendship breakups because we all need some validation that we are not alone. And I will end today with my angry love letter to those who taught me what friendship isn't. And I wrote this letter while I was in the trenches of my friendship breakup. So please excuse my anger. I'm in a better place now. Okay. Dear my ex-bestie, after all these years of support we have given each other, okay, I gotta be angry. Dear my ex-bestie, after all these years of support we have given each other, did it feel good to diminish me in your attempt to elevate yourself? Girls without girlfriends, they always have their fucking reasons. I should have paid attention to the silence around you. I confused your isolation with depth. I mistook your damage for loyalty. My bad, but maybe I thought you wouldn't ever leave me because I was all you had. But I learned that people who stand alone do it by choice, not because no one showed up, but because they chased everybody off. You know, I lost count, but I tried to speak to you like an adult. Yet you chose regression, condescension, projection. Honestly, losing a friend hurts in ways romance never could, because they bruise quietly. So you keep forgiving until the layers built on years of shared crumbs and chaos force your hand to pull the fucking trigger. So I'm forced to thank the universe for clarity instead, for making room in my life for real ones who see me for who I am. I'll shed the rotten skin that I've kept on too long. Love, just an acquaintance. Am I petty? I think I'm petty. Bye, everyone.